Excellent connection. What's up, boss fam? This is your boy Dun Beezy, and I'm out here in Phuket, Thailand. Check out the scenery. Oh, yes. What did he say? We out here in Phuket today, baby. We in Phuket today, baby. And we're here today with another boss roller skating history lesson. Today, we are going to be talking about, actually, let me do that drop one more time. I think it's probably an echo. What's up, boss fam? This is your boy, Dun Beezy, and we're out here today in Phuket, Thailand. Ooh, we out here today in Phuket, Thailand. We're here for another boss roller skating history lesson. And our lesson for today is going to be ATL, the movie happened. Hello, Helen, how you doing? And before we get into our video for today, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. First things first, if you didn't know, I just released my first roller skating course, How to Tow Manual Like a Boss. It is available now. I hosted it on Teachable. Teachable is a website, and it has like an app, so you can get all of the lessons directly to your phone. And yeah, it's a course that'll take you from Bambi to pro skating on your toes. I'm going to put all the information to that down below. Housekeeping piece number 2. Amira Palmer reached out to me, and there are ebooks for all of the books in the series, The Evolution of Skating. There are ebooks available, and I'm going to be putting the link to the ebooks down in the description. Shouts out to everybody that reached out. Shouts out to everybody that showed love. Because you were able to show me some love and give me a little bit of help, I was able to, you know what I mean, get that, what's it called? Yeah, I was able to handle that. So I'm going to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to do that. And final piece of housekeeping for today. For our lesson for today, I'm going to be reading some sections from the story, because today we're going to be reading from Paul Antonio Johnson's story. He is an actual ATL roller skating legend. I think we have to keep it real. He's one of the original members of the Ones, DA space Ones. If you remember, the Ones were the people who were the skating in the Sierra video. They also did some other roller skating videos. You know, the 1-2 step video. Let me see you want to step. I love it when you want to step. Everybody. When I tell you I read his story today, and now I cannot get 1-2 step out of my head. This beat is automatic. Hip-hearted, funky, fresh. Anyway, let's get into it. And they were also one of the first people in the first, like, you remember like the first Apple iPhone commercials? The people roller skating in the first iPhone commercial, boom, boom, they were in that commercial as well. And they were also, they were the titular team from ATL, because if you watch ATL, you know, you got the Preps, you got the Ones, you have the Warriors. And today we're going to be breaking down and reading some passages from the book, because I actually described this in my full breakdown. It's actually an overview. It's not a full breakdown of the history, but in my first Rhythm Skating History Edition video where I covered the ATL style. And as we read today, I'm going to be mentioning different things, and I'm going to be connecting them back to that video, because as I told everybody, you know, I'm coming out with more blogs and I'm coming out with more podcasts, and I'm going to be doing different connections, because that's what I really want to do with this series of lives and with this series of videos. I want to connect what I'm saying about roller skating history to people's stories, to the media, to our world today. And that's the big connection that we're going to be doing. And this story and Paul's story is absolutely perfect for it, because Paul is roller skating history, and he has, and the really, really cool thing about the story, actually, I'm not going to spoil it. Well, let's get into it. Let's crack the text open. Oh, and the final thing right now, and I want everybody to comment down below if you would be interested in seeing this. What I really want to do is I kind of want to do dramatic readings of the different parts of the story, because I just think that reading Paul's story, I just could see it in my head. Not see the story specifically in my head, but I could see the jokes in my head, and I'm going to tell a couple of those jokes as we go through. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's start off at the very, very beginning. This is how Paul was introduced to the skating rink. And now also, finally, before I start, I'm going to be purposefully leaving out different sections of it. I'm not going to be reading the entire chapter, because you know what I mean? Like, this is some people's intellectual property. I want to review it, but I also want to make sure to encourage people to actually purchase the text, because you know what I mean? There was work went into this. I'm not out here trying to encourage people to pirate text, and I don't want to be a Inuit to help pirate text. But let's get it. Oh, this dude is hilarious. Like, I'm going to start off. It all started one Friday night at Sparkle Skating Rink in Riverdale. Doug, the reason I even started skating, oh my God, had been asking me and my homie Dean, who I've known since I was 9, about skating at the rink. We fought him about it constantly and even made some biased comments about skating. Doug wouldn't take no for an answer, so he basically put his allowance up to pay for anything we wanted that Friday night. All we needed to physically show up and show us his vision. Eventually, Dean and I went with him. We didn't even get past the DJ booth before Doug was swarmed by pretty females, greeting and hugging him. We looked at each other like, gosh darn. And and inside my text I wrote, what did he say? I think this is funny, and this is actually going to set up a theme throughout his entire story, because Paul Antonio Johnson gets women. Hey, they like him. They like to spend time with him. They like his swag. They like the way that he skates, and it is extremely apparent by this story. And there's actually the Splash Coleon song that I'm always referencing, Skate World. Could have been a rapper, could have been a singer, could have been an actor, could have been a... Shout out to the skate girls, shout out to the skate boys. Oh, this one is for the skate world. Every single time he says something about talking to women at the skating rink, I'm going to cue Skate World. I'm just going to go, could have been a ramp, because he is the epitome of the song Skate World. The epitome. Well, anyway, we didn't even think it was honeys at the rink like that. Could have been a ramp, but could have been a... He then took us into the pro shop. That's where you buy skates, and that's where, and at the Golden Glide, and something that's crazy that's going on with skating, they're actually taking the skate equipment out of the pro shop. So you can't find as much in a lot of pro shops. They're not stocked as well. But let's keep it on. And rented us our speed skates. They look cool compared to the brownies, or should I say rental skates. He told us to hold off on putting them on as they were playing some dance music. Afterwards, we headed to the corner to dance with some ladies before we laced up. Could have been a rapper, could have been a singer. In fact, I didn't even spend a half an hour in the ring, and I was already sold on going, because I had ladies and popularity in the blink of an eye. I could have been a rapper. I could have been a singer. Actually, anyway, let's keep it pushing. Well, what I want to cue into now is, after they get to the rink, Doug is an experienced skater. So he goes out and he has a lot of different moves that they're doing. I want to read a passage from the book about one of the moves that Doug is doing and connect that to ATL skate history. He says, mind you, we didn't know a gosh darn thing. Y'all know what he said for real, but I'm not trying to get demonetized. What did he say? But roll and try not to fall. Meanwhile, Doug was doing all types of tricks and a cross slide, or known to the ATL OGs as the stab. Dean and I were sold. We were like, we gotta learn this. I think this is really important because the stab or the cross slide is one of the moves that I spoke about in my ATL history video, where I describe other moves like the prep and different routines that they're doing down there. And I think it's really, really cool to have that all confirmed and have that vocabulary confirmed by Paul Johnson's, one of the ATL OGs. And let's keep it pushing from there. The part about ATL that is real is the cruise, is the battles. You know, like in the scene, T.I.'s like, Sunday night, you had your rappers, your dancers, your pretty girls, but on top of all that, it was the skate crews. And then he talks about the different skate crews, and he's like, well, we were the ones. And all of that's real. All of that happened for real. All of the names, a lot of the names, I'm not going to say all of the names, but a lot of the names, they're based on true events. And even right now down in Atlanta, the ATL style is actually having a resurgence and revival. Because when I was younger, one of the only routines that was widely practiced was riding. I saw people actually stepping, but now we have younger people in the rink really doing the different routines. So let's take a look and let's read from his experiences as a person starting a crew and coming up in the rink. So he says, okay, finally the first they actually get jobs at the skating rink. They are young teenagers coming up, and they get jobs at the skating rink. And they go skating so often that they eventually get called into the office. And just like B Young, just like Eli, skate guy to tell you, just like probably T-Stags, just like Killer B, there are select teenagers and there are select people who get called up to the adult night session, because you just don't get into adult night. That all that stuff about, you know what I mean, the age limits, people take it very, very seriously. And unfortunately, one of the things that comes with a lot of youth, especially in the hood, let's keep it a buck, is a lot of fighting and a lot of terrible behavior. So they really try to keep that out the rink, and they try to keep it away from the adult nights. But Paul and his crew, they got called up to the adult night. So they're the young dudes in the adult nights. And this is a story from their first day in adult night. Finally, the first Sunday came and we went. It was scary and super packed. The difference between a family session and an adult night is drastic. At the family session, especially if you're a teenager who practices, you're a big fish in a small pond. But when you get to adult night, you're a small fish in a big pond, and they'll eat you up. Ain't no skate guards. They'll eat you up. So you really got to roll out there. You really got to have it. Nonetheless, we skated well. The catch was there were like 7 to 10 other skate crews with names, chants, and popularity. So Paul like 40 years old. When he goes to his first adult night as a child, this already exists. So this is just showing the connection of the history in the deep history and culture of skate crews in Atlanta. Let's keep it pushing. We were some kids from the ghetto who weren't supposed to be there, but we held our own. We were getting waxed by the superior group, Vine's crew. I had known him all these years and never knew the name of their crew. All I knew was when the blind high top fade was coming, you better get out of the way. There were other crews too. We made up names for them because we didn't know their names, and we didn't care. Ice in my veins. I'm not sure if you guys know that, but when people point to their arms like that and make the face, it's supposed to be showing that they have ice in their veins, and that's the joke. That's the Gen Z thing. But anyway, I think that's really, really cool, and it's proof that ATL happened. It's proof that skate wars is real, and even now there's a literal quote unquote king of Cascade. It's an actual skater. They had a competition, they cleared the floor out, and there is a literal king of Cascade. There are still crews in Cascade. If you follow my homegirl legend, LEHJUND, she just joined. I think she's in the ones. I think she's in the new crew of the ones. Like, to be very, very serious, and like what's his name? skate solo. I skate solo. He's in the new ones too. So they're passing this tradition down. And if you talk to the Sicko Sick crew, he'll tell you about the history. But the Sicko Sick crew, the Sick on Skates crew, excuse me, sorry, Tony, they're also continuing this tradition of Atlanta skate crews. And like the cool thing about the Sicko Skates crew is they also have the Sicko Skates kids, and they're really, really passing this directly to the kids. So, you know what I mean? It's the culture was alive and well, and the culture is continuing to be alive and continuing to be well. Well, let's keep it going. We had one job to be the best, and we taunted and made fun of the other crews, but we also worked hard to avoid looking like them. And this is when I want to start talking about some of the soft skills and the cool points of the story, because from what I just said, the connection, the fact that he even said the ones, and if you go back and you look at my last video where I talk about the preps and I connected to this stuff, okay, we know that ATL happened. We know that this is still a part of the community. And this ain't just a I told you, and what did I tell you? When did I tell you? And what did I say was going to happen when I told you? Or what just happened? Actually, that's actually one of my favorite Family Guy cutaways. I know. That's like one of my favorite Family Guy cutaways. But I want to start bringing in some of the soft skills and a couple of cultural things that I'm always talking about. He said to avoid looking like them. There is competition in the skate world. A lot of modern skating, people talk about I don't skate to win, wooty woonty woon. People are villainizing the competitive nature of roller skating or competitive nature, but healthy competition is real. And a lot of times, especially in the style skating community, like Leo White, I think he got like the best skater or an outstanding skater at IRX, long time skater, super duper OG. But he didn't also say, yeah, and this was like a $5,000 check that they gave me as well. Like maybe there was a cash prize and they just didn't talk about it. But usually when people get cash for winning something, they make sure to put that in the bio. It's just for the love. It's just for the support. And a little bit later in the story, he talks about how roller skating and how taking roller skating so seriously really, really saved him. And I'm going to bring that back because one thing that I really don't like is I really don't like the I don't skate to win culture. I really don't like the what is a roller skate battle. Like I remember one time I was on Reddit and I made a joke about battling and this woman was like, battle? What do you mean battle? And I'm like, what is this, like the 80s? And she was like making fun of me. But I'm like, bro, like, you trying to diss me about talking about roller skating battles, but this is a big piece of the roller skating culture. You know what I mean? To take that out of the culture that shows that you're disconnected from the history. If you want to skate like that, you want to skate like that. But you can't disconnect that from the history. Well, anyway, let's keep it in. I want to read a story. So they got really, really popular. And he said, I remember one night we were on our way home from the rink and stopped at a red light only to have a rival skate crew pull up on us and draw a gun on us. I stared down the barrel of a gun and didn't flinch. It's funny that years later, I saw the guy who pulled the gun out on me. He said, hey, man, we wanted to scare y'all away from the rink. I wasn't going to shoot y'all. And I want to read a second piece of the story, and I want to talk about the fall culture for a second. Yes, I went there. Because these days, everybody's talking about normalizing falling. If you dare make a sentence about how you are not trying to fall and you do not think that falling is the most positive skate experience, people jump on your head. But time and time again, especially when you listen to experienced skaters, they speak about falling in a different way. And let's check it out. He said they're speaking about he tells another story in this book, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. You got to get the book. He actually tells a really, really funny story, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read a piece of it. Dean grabbed Kelly. Doug grabbed Latoya, and Titus grabbed the chocolate girl. I never knew her name. If you go back and you actually get the book and you read this, you're going to burst out laughing because how disrespectful that last piece of it was. He wasn't even trying to be, but, we all got to skate with them, showed out and got to skate with them again. When the slow set came back, it was one of the best sessions I had. There was no drama for rival crews and no falls. We were flawless on the routines, and each of us had a lady to skate with all night. And I want to connect this for a second. He says there was no drama with rival skate crews and no falls. If you just heard, the drama with the other skate crews could get so intense that they will pull a weapon out on you and threaten your life at a stoplight. He compares drama with rival skate crews to falling. Do you think he wants to normalize rival crews? Do you think he would normalize getting caught lacking at the light by the ops? So why would he normalize falling? Experienced skaters, falling is something that experienced skaters accept as a part of their lives. Falling is not something that experienced skaters ruminate on. There's entirely too much fall practice. Entirely. And then a lot of the fall practice is very faulty. I'm going to keep it real. If somebody is teaching you to fall on your knees because you got knee pads on, they don't know what they're talking about. Name another sport where they teach people to fall on their knees. Think about it. Name another sport that teaches you to fall and prevent yourself from hurting yourself in a way that is logically going to lead to an injury. And I want you to think about that. And because when I say it, it just sounds crazy. Maybe Beezy just talking out the side of his neck. But this is Paul Johnson from the Ones also echoing the same sentiment. Falling is not the goal. Well, anyway, let's keep it pushing. I just thought that one was funny. I got one more section that I want to read. Actually, that's everything that I have for that. And so, yeah. Later in the story, he talks about some of the other things that he did. He talks about some of the money that he made. And I really like the Ones. I really love that they exist because, I always talk about a lot of the bias inside of the roller skating community, especially when it comes to the media. But they're a 100% success story. And they were able to really get an opportunity to move more and go farther with skating. And I remember what I was gonna say every single chapter in the book gives a quote. The person that writes the chapter, they give a quote that they live by, and his is "Skating saved my life," because he grew up in College Park, Georgia, and it gets a little hectic out there. I ain't gonna lie. Like, even just the idea, think about it. Have you ever had somebody walk up in your face with that thing out over some skate beef? Like, that's the type of environment that you're living in. When you really get an opportunity to go farther and do more, it really helps. And they actually made a lot of money. He really broke the figure down about how much they made, and I was like, yo, that's a lot of money. And I think that's really cool, and it's extremely positive. And I love to see these extremely positive stories from the skate world. But anyway, boss fam, I'm about to get out of here. And like I said at the top, ATL actually happened. And all of this stuff that I talk about in the skate world, everything that I'm going back and forth with in the skate world is all connected. And right now, I'm writing a lot of blogs. And I'm going to be posting them and connecting them to my videos because I'm developing I guess this is technically my second book because I wrote a small ebook. I guess I can call it a pamphlet. I'll write my first full length. Is it a novel if it's fiction? If it's nonfiction? Well, I'm going to write a full-length book, 300 pages, on roller skating history. And this is going to be the start of the of the source material. This is going to be the start of the research. And when everything comes together, that's when we're going to get that book. Well, anyway, before I get out of here, I just want to say it one more time. If you haven't already checked it out, I put my first roller skating course up, how to tow manual like a boss. You can head down to the link below. I'm going to make sure to get that in there ASAP to give everybody an opportunity to do it. And if you haven't already, you can head over to my website, www.dbzytv.com, and make sure you drop your name on that first page so you can get signed up and get notifications when I make new blog posts. Because I ain't gonna lie, I love Instagram, but Instagram isn't where the heat is. The real heat is actually on Patreon, because I ain't tell nobody, but I got 2 videos on Patreon right now. I ain't even show to the world. I have 2 new videos on Patreon. I probably got like 20 videos on Patreon that aren't on YouTube anymore. And then also in the email list and on the website, because I want to grow those, and I'm giving out freebies. I'm giving out free lessons, because in addition to developing that book, I'm also developing my next courses. How to turn like a boss, TNT, transitions and turns, and groundwork like a boss. I'm going to be developing the courses, creating the tutorials, and writing the blogs. And when it's finished, I'm going to combine everything, optimize it, and push it out. And the only way to really get the best of the information is to be on the email list. I'll give you green belt knowledge on YouTube. I'm giving away green belt knowledge on YouTube. And I usually only give away the black belt knowledge on Patreon. But for the email list and for my blog readers, y'all gonna be getting black belt knowledge. What did he say? Well, anyway, boss fam, that's all I have for you today. Until next time, Largon.